Hello everyone, it's me again. So my topic for today is all about or related to the connection between school and the community. So my topic for today is key element of school as a social system. So there are three social theories. First is the structural functional theory. The proponent of a structural functional views society as a system of interconnected parts, each with a unique function. The parts have to work together for stability and balance of society. So society is compared to the human body with different but interrelated parts, performing different functions. So just as the human body has many parts, society has different but interrelated components such as family, the state, the school, the church, mass media, economics. This must coordinate and collaborate for society to function well. So, the functional theory of education focuses on how education serves the need of society, though the development of skills encouraging social cohesion. The role of school is to prepare students for participation in the institution of society. Education is concerned with transmission of core values for social control. Education is concerned with socializing people by bringing together people from different backgrounds. The functionalist theory is focused on social stability and solidarity. Functionalists see education as a beneficial contribution to an ordered society. Another, functionalism does not encourage people to take an active role in changing their social environment, even when such change may benefit them. Instead, functionalism sees active social change as undesirable because the various parts of society will compensate naturally for any problems that may arise. For example, schools can compensate for the lack of time and the lack of parental advice from home. So, there are four purposes of schooling according to functionalists. First is the intellectual purposes. It refers to acquisition of cognitive skills, inquiry skills. Second, political purposes. Educate future citizens, promote patriotism, promote assimilation of immigrants, ensure order, public civility, and conformity of laws. The third one, economic purposes. Prepare students for later work rules, select and train the labor force needed by society. The last one, the fourth one, the social purposes. Promote a sense of social and moral responsibility, serves as site for the solution or resolution of social problems. Supplement the efforts of other institutions of socialization, such as the family and the church. So let's proceed to the second theory. The second theory is conflict theory. Conflict theory welcomes conflict, for that is the way to the establishment of new society. Conflict theories find potential conflict between any groups where inequality exists: racial, gender, religious, political, economic, and so on. Conflict theories note that unequal groups usually have conflicting values and agendas, causing them to compete against one another. So this constant competition between groups forms the basis for the ever-changing nature of society. So for example, the factory workers want change: better working conditions, higher salaries. The factory owners naturally are opposed to such. The resolution of the conflict, however, leads to a compromise, a change in the way the factory is managed where both workers and owners are happy. So, let's proceed to the third theory, the symbolic interactionist theory perspective. So there are three types. First is the individual action depends on the meaning. We act based on the meaning we give to symbols. Symbols can be actions, objects, or words. For example, if a student understands the teacher believes in his or her ability, he or she tries his or her best to prove that indeed he or she is able. If a teacher does otherwise, a student tends to behave in accordance with teacher's poor perception. The second one is different people may give different meanings to the same things. When teachers are strict, some students see it as an expression of care. Others may rebel because they perceive teachers' behavior as limiting their moves and desires. A businessman may look at a tree and start estimating how much money he can get if he has the tree cut down for lumber. A philosopher or a poet may look at it with the thought, "They also serve who only stands and wait," like John Milton's from his poem on his blindness. The third one is the meanings change as individuals interact with one another. A negative meaning that you use to associate with hospitals when you went to a hospital which looked more as a hotel than the usual hospital, is changed. After you have taught well, your first impression of teaching as boring is changed to teaching is exciting. Okay, let's proceed to how proponents of conflict theory regards education. So, according to the conflict theory, education is not truly a social benefit or opportunity as seen by the functionalist. Rather, education is a powerful means of maintaining power structures and creating a docile workforce for capitalism. The purpose of education is to maintain social inequality and to preserve the power of those who dominate society and teach those in the working class to accept their position as a lower class worker of society. Conflict theorists call this the hidden curriculum. The hidden curriculum socializes young people into obedience and conformity for them to be developed as docile workers. Functionalists disagree strongly. They assert that if schools teach adherence to policies, obedience to rules, and respect for persons including authorities, punctuality, and honesty, civil right, it is because they are very principled dear to a democratic way of life. It is not because they want to make the workers remain docile, unquestioning and subservient forever while those in power remain in power. So let's proceed to implication to teaching. Let us promote and create opportunities for genuine interaction among our students and teachers. Interaction does not only mean dealing with warm bodies. Interaction includes reading, listening, and viewing. Other people's view and meanings are conveyed in what they have written, in speeches and lectures they have delivered. Let us use positive symbols in the form of gestures, words, actions, and appearance to express our trust, belief in our students' abilities, and an affirmation of their being. In fact, our belief in our students also has positive effects in us. We find ourselves more prepared in class, more caring, truly professionals. The symbolic interactionist perspective, also known as symbolic interactionism, directs sociologists to consider the symbols and details of everyday life, what these symbols mean, and how the people interact with each other. So, as the term implies, symbolic interactionist theory states that people interact with one another through symbols. Language is a predominant symbols among people. According to symbolic interactionist perspective, people attach meanings to symbols, and then they act according to their subjective interpretation of these symbols. Verbal conversation, in which spoken words serve as the predominant symbols, make this subjective interpretation especially evident. So the words have a certain meaning for the sender, and during effective communication, they hopefully have the same meaning for the receiver. In other terms, words are not static things. They require intention and interpretation. Conversation is an interaction of symbols between individuals who constantly interpret the world around them. To ensure mutual understanding, the sender of the symbols and the receiver of the symbols must give the same meaning. to the symbol or run the risk of misunderstanding. So note, faulty communication can result from difference in the perceptions of the same events and symbols. Did you experience this in your activity of giving symbols of caring? While you look at your symbols as something expressing your love and care, your partner may have not understood it that way at all. So let's proceed to the weakness of symbolic interaction theory. Critics claim that symbolic interactionism neglects that macro level of social interpretation, the big picture. In other words, symbolic interactionists may miss the larger issues of society by focusing too closely on the trees, or by restricting themselves to small individual interactions. Symbolic interactionism traces its origins to Max Weber's assertion that individuals act according to their interpretation of the meaning of their world. However, it was the American philosopher George H. Mead who introduced this perspective to American sociology in the 1920s. So, according to what I've read lately, there are four important parts the purpose of schooling, according to the functionalist theory are. So, first is the intellectual purposes. So, according to what I've said lately, it refers to acquisition of cognitive skills or inquiry skills. And the second one is political purposes. So, it refers to educate future citizens, promote patriotism, promote assimilation of immigrants, ensure order, public civility, and conformity to laws. So the third one is economic purposes. Prepare students for later work rules, select and train the labor force needed by society. And the fourth one, or the last one, is social purposes. So promote a sense of social and moral responsibility, serve as a site for the solution or resolution of social problems, supplement the efforts of other institutions of socialization such as the family and the church. So do you get it, everyone? Okay, thank you for listening. Goodbye.